In this video, we're going to focus on how can I remove array element at the end of an array in JavaScript for Chart.js. So let's look at this. So we're going to use Chart.js as our example here because with Chart.js you get some extra challenges that you need to learn on. Right now we have this wonderful bar chart here. And what we want to do is we want to remove, for example, the orange value here and the purple, whatever, or let's say the end value first. So we just the orange. How can we do this? Well, to do this, you need to use the array pop method to pop out the very last value. However, to do this, we will have to work with a few items here. So what we can do here is basically this. So if we will get the array, and I'm going to use here the Chart.js, we're going to grab first the Chart.js array here. Imagine we want to have this data here, this array value here, and we want to pop out this specific value. So we go from my chart, data, data set, and then data. So let's get that one here. So data.data sets, and data sets is an array by default, so meaning that this is a 0 index 0. That's what we need to use. And then we have here, of course, the data. Then .data. And here what we can say is the following .pop. That's basically what we want to do. And once we did that, we can do here console.log. And here we're going to show the value what's going to happen. So if I do this now and refresh, nothing happens here. But if we open up a console log, you can see here now what's going on. Oh, well, I don't want that. No, I want my console log. Go back here. You can see here something is happening here. Match for beginners, apply, return. And I realize that instead of this, I need to do this one. Sorry. And refresh. There you are. So now what happens? It will pop which value? Number 3. Which is correct because this is number 3, but the chart itself will not respond. Why does the chart not respond? Simply this. We didn't insert it in the chart yet because basically it's outside. However, if you would do this, or well, what we can do here is to do another console log. And here we just only say, show me all the data we have, refresh. Now you can see here we don't have number 3. We only have a length of 5, while here on the bar chart we have a length of 6. Meaning that there's one removed by using the pop function here. Alright, or the pop command. So what we want to do now, even if you would move this up, you will see you get an error. And the reason why you get an error is Chart.js will not understand this variable here. So if we save this and refresh, it says error cannot read data property of undefined. Why undefined? Because this here has not, or at least this constant or variable, well, you can use this constant as well, it should be constant, has not been loaded yet. So it doesn't recognize this text here. It doesn't know what is my chart. That's the question because of this here. Alright, so what we have to do here, to apply it on the chart, we need to move the data up here into a constant variable. So we say constant, and let's say this is the data. So constant data equals this. And then we can remove this and we say here data, because now we can start to modify the data and this will load completely along with whatever our modifications are. And that's very important to remember because that is how you eventually modify an array in JavaScript by default. You modify it and then you use the modified version and insert it in wherever you want and then you can use that. So this is why it's very good to have this combination here. Alright, so what we're going to do now is then we say here the following data.pop, and what will happen now is the data will pop and now it will start to work. So if I save this, then we have this one here. Let's see what happens now. If we refresh here, you can see now orange has been removed. It's been popped away like a bubble. You pop the bubble and it explodes. So what is missing here is basically the label. So Chart.js works with labels, and the labels is the leading way of calculating how many values will be in here. So what we can do is we can remove this, but we cannot do this manually. What we need to do is we need to pop the labels as well. So what we can do is this. We just cut this out, create a new constant here, and we say here constant, this will be labels equals this. There you are. And then what we want to do is basically we say here labels dot pop. And now if we do this and save that, oh, let's see what's going on. Of course, we didn't have any label value here. That's not allowed, of course. It will give you an error. So labels equal labels. So then refresh. Now we popped it. There you are. So with this, we can pop values as well. And if you want to have some more fun, let's create a function where we can pop them one by one by clicking a button. So let's create here a HR or a horizontal line, and then we say here button. I use button here. Main reason, in a button you use JavaScript. In a href or anchor tag, you use a link. And Google expects a link in anchor tag, and a button should have a should be expected with JavaScript. That's basically the common consensus, what I've noticed with buttons. Alright, so that's a quick extra. So here, we're going to create the button, and then we say here, we create a function, and if we click on this, the function will be pop value. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make a new function, but the function must be below here. Why? Because here above you cannot start to pop value and reload the chart, because the chart must be first loaded fully here. Once it's loaded, at that moment you can create a function, and then you can do or modify the chart as you please. So we're going to copy this here. There you are. And then we say, and this is the reason why, we say here my chart, we get the my chart dot update. That's it. Very important. So this is the reason why you need this, because if you if you use this update here above, or if you put the function above, it will not recognize this entire detail. So there's nothing to update because it doesn't recognize the constant and it doesn't know even the chart exists. So now if we refresh here, oh, all right, we have the button here. We have to remove value and save that, refresh, and now if we press a button, there we are, we remove the very end value, and then there we are, there we are, there we are, there we are, and there you are. So this is how you can play around with this, and this is quite fun, and of course you can do so much more with this, especially in Chartjs. If you love Chartjs, please check my other videos. They cover a lot about topics about Chartjs. You can do so many fun items with it. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoy it. And if you enjoy this video, you probably will enjoy this one as well. And if you're interested in Chartjs, check out in the description box the link directing to my Chartjs course, where you can learn everything about Chartjs. And finally, of course, make sure you subscribe to my channel.